The United States capital, Washington, D.C., is putting the finishing touches to its preparations ahead of the hosting of the inauguration of U.S. President-elect Donald Trump as the 47th president to hold office. Officials expect nearly 250,000 ticketed guests to descend on the city to witness Trump and Vice President-elect J.D. Vance take the oath of office on the same day the nation marks the Martin Luther King Jr. federal holiday. For more on this, we're now joined by SABC News correspondent Tony Waterman, and she joins us now live. Tony, thank you so much for your time this evening. Perhaps let's start off here. If you could just paint us a picture and let us know, what is the atmosphere like in the U.S. right now ahead of the inauguration of Donald Trump?
Well, I think that's going to really depend on where you are in the United States and also who you voted for, because while 50% of the public voted for Donald Trump, a little bit more than that, there was half of the country that did not, and some people are in mourning and some people are absolutely exuberant. I'm here in Eagle Pass, Texas. This is right on the U.S.-Mexico border. You can actually see here behind me across this bridge right here, that is Mexico. And this is a huge crossing point for people coming into the country. And as you know, immigration is going to be front and center in a Trump 2.0 policy. The incoming president has vowed the largest mass deportations in U.S. history, and he is expected to start that on day one. We are expecting that a number of executive orders are going to be signed that will expedite the process of deportations. There is an estimated 11 million people in the United States that are living here illegally, and these are individuals that could get caught up in these mass deportations. We are expecting that there are going to be raids starting in the very early hours of Tuesday morning, and they're expected to take place in what are known as sanctuary cities, these democratic strongholds that have shielded migrants by limiting their cooperation with federal immigration authorities. And we are expecting that there could be storming of immigrant communities, of construction sites, of churches, really any place that migrants live and work. And we're expecting that to happen for the days to come. And officials are saying that they are going to really focus on criminals and gang members, although the incoming border czar, Tom Homan, is saying that really anybody that is caught up and found to be living here illegally could be part of this deportation process. Another top priority could be people that are already in the system, these millions of individuals that have either gone through or are going through the asylum process, people that have been denied asylum but just haven't left the country yet, and also potentially people that the current president, Joe Biden, has granted temporary protective status to. And the Trump administration is not disqualified or ruled out the separation of families, perhaps a mother and father who came over illegally but now have children that are U.S. citizens. This is going to really be a focus issue for the president in his first weeks and months in office. And it seems like at this point, he has the backing of the American public. There was this poll that came out over the weekend showing that 55% of Americans either strongly support or somewhat support mass deportations. Of course, there could be some hurdles, one of them being the cost. It's expected to cost more than $88 billion to carry out these mass deportations. Also, Border Patrol agents are in short supply. There is a shortage of them right now, so it's going to be a resource issue. And another big question is going to be, where do we put all these individuals who are detained before deportation? Here in Texas, the state has offered up land for detention centers, perhaps in this general area where people would be held before they're sent back to their country. But again, this is another question. Where do these immigrants go from the United States? Because there are some countries, including Venezuela, that will not take back their citizens. So this is going to be front and center starting on Monday, when Donald Trump is handed over once again the reins of power. But I have to say that even it's quiet here, because we've been here before and there have been dozens and dozens of people that have been coming across. It's much quiet, and part of that is because of policy that's been put in place by President Biden. We've seen drastic reductions in number of migrant crossings. And in fact, the number of arrests that are taking place are even lower than when Trump left office the last time.
And Tony, maybe let's talk about that handover that is expected to take place tomorrow when we see Donald Trump officially being inaugurated. Of course, touching on very important issues there, the issue around mass deportation being a major focus. But at the same time, maybe perhaps let's also then talk about what we can expect when it comes to the inauguration.
Well, this is a decades and 100-year-old tradition in the United States where there is this handover of power between the current president and the incoming president. This time, actually, it's going to be taking place inside. We're expecting very cold temperatures up in D.C. and really in a lot of places across the United States. So it's going to be held indoors, the first time that has happened since Ronald Reagan was inaugurated. And we are expecting that there are going to be big crowds. There's going to be these balls. There are going to be these celebrations. There's going to be a parade. There's going to be all of these different things that happen every single time there's a handover of power. But what we're really going to be focusing on are the executive orders that are signed at the very start of the Trump presidency.
And of course, we are expecting at least more than 250,000 guests who will be attending that inauguration. Perhaps any big names that you can share with us?
Yeah, there are a lot of big names that are going to be attending. There's some Chinese officials that are already in town. They've actually been meeting with the vice president-elect, Vance. There are leaders coming from around the world, and these are leaders that the Trump administration is trying to build relationships with or extend those relationships. Trump has always been an America first type of politician. That changed a little bit under the Biden administration, where he tried to reopen the United States up to our allies overseas in different parts of the world. But this is an administration that is going to need the help of these allies to be able to carry out certain policies. So for the immigration, for example, you have a relationship with Mexico, with the president there, and she has been quite pivotal in helping to reduce the number of border crossings. Mexican police are stopping these migrant caravans that are traveling from the very southern part of Mexico right now, trying to make it to the U.S. border before Monday, before the inauguration takes place, to see if they can get across before Trump is put in power. He's going to need these relationships with these global leaders if he is going to be able to carry out not just his international policies, but also his domestic policies.
All right, Tony, thank you so much for that update. Certainly, it's going to be a very busy time ahead of that inauguration that takes place tomorrow in the capital, Washington, D.C. SABC News correspondent there, Tony Waterman, giving us an update.